Yo, YouTube, what up? Army ATC 22 coming back at you. Fanatics Fest just finished. I'm back home. So, let's discuss. All right, after a long 3-day event, I have to say that Fanatics is doing it right. There's a lot of mixed reviews out there on how this show went and what people are comparing it to and everything else. What I want to get across right away from the beginning is you can't compare Fanatics Fest with the National. So many people are already doing that, right? This was a fan experience type of fest. That's why it's called a fest. Not a card show, but they had cards in it, right? Card shows don't have so much those fan experiences in them. Will they in the future, looking and seeing so much success that Fanatics just had this weekend? Who knows? Maybe they will. But I say you can't compare the two. I do, because this card show didn't have Leaf, didn't have Upper Deck, didn't have Panini, didn't have Wild Card. None of those other products, brands were there because they don't fall under the Fanatics umbrella. Now, if somehow in the future Fanatics Fest, next year in LA in the spring, and then back in New York down the road, if they start allowing those other companies to come in, those ones that are technically their competitors, now you're starting to get to the point they can start being compared to the National because they have more. And on top, if they start having more dealers. But overall, this past weekend, I rarely saw people really upset. We'll start with the bad stuff, finish with the good stuff, and we'll go from there. You'll see me ramble on some. I'll go on a tyrant, whatever. But in my mind, I thought it was incredible. As much stuff that was happening throughout all the days, it is just, I think it was ran better than most expected. One of the number one gripes that people are saying are about the VIPs. All right, you pay this premium. It says you're going to get a swag bag. You get in early, all this stuff. This is where the comparison started happening with the National and other places, because VIP entry is usually a lot longer prior to general admission coming in. Well, for Fanatics Fest, it was only 15 minutes. That 15 minutes, depending where you are in getting to where you need to be, can mean hours on the back end. Because everyone knows these events, I've said it before, I do a lot more talking on Instagram, as you guys can tell. I haven't been on YouTube in a while. Everyone goes for the exclusives. So in this case, going for the New York exclusive hobby boxes, blaster boxes at the Topps booth. Minutes can turn into hours depending on where you're at in that line, depending on how many people are going in there. So I can see the frustration of VIP holders not getting in early enough to be able to get in line. So it's taking up their time during the day during the show. On top of that, the swag bag. Now, I didn't get to hold one of the bags. I saw pictures. I saw everything else from them. And having heritage packs, big league packs, retail packs all inside there, they were there. A lot of people were upset. You did get a fast pass to go around, any experience or anything else like that, and get, front of the line type of thing. But the thing is if you have all these VIPs that have it, all these premium people that have them, you're in another line that's still long, even though with the fast pass, right? They said the bag material was really weak, and yeah, so I think a lot of feedback is going to come back from the VIPs. Fanatics is listening. Shout out to EJ, who ran the whole thing, had his hand in so many different jars, trying to do so much stuff, and like I couldn't have done that probably any better. If I'd probably have done a lot worse. So your team there in Fanatics events, outstanding job on that aspect. I would say for me, for hearing with the Chrome boxes, right? You know, how the lines were monstrous, hours on end waiting for these boxes. I would say split up, couple spots on the floor, not just one central location for everyone to be at. Now, in that pretense, like what that would mean is probably those lines in multiple locations would just be super long also. But maybe make it a queue type of aspect, right? You know, saying, you know, you can fit this many people here. So once you get everyone to this spot, boom, now it's done. Open it up at certain times throughout the day. Maybe have a kiosk where you have to come up and you hit a button, gives you a ticket, and you can come back later in the day. It gives you time, and you can come and you can get the actual, you can actually get the product. This way, everyone's not waiting in line. It could say just go directly up there right now, right? Just something to think about. I'm trying to help fix that aspect, but it happens at the national too. So, you know, everyone's looking for the exclusives because of how much that stuff resells for. So going off of that, arguably, I think that is the one main thing that people had problems with, right? For me, from what I experienced and everything, I'm going to say this one thing, and it is a negative, but it's not, right? I did get press coverage, but I didn't feel like it was press coverage, right? Got me into the event. I did get to be on a couple separate stages to get some filming rather than sitting in certain locations. Wasn't that great. But the thing that got me was it goes ADA, VIP, then press to get into the event. It just seems like what I would imagine you'd want the press to be recording as much as possible, right? To be able to put out into the universe. Certain individuals, I'm not saying that it's all the press. There are people that had all access to everything else and was doing that. But I felt that, you know, to get more of, not so much the experience, because you kind of want to do more filming in this environment with people around so that you can feel the atmosphere. At least to me, I feel like that's good. But also the ability to get in before everybody, to film with less crowded, to film other stuff closer and everything, so you know you can show off everything. It just didn't seem like that was really a thing, and it's fine. You know, if there's the reasons why and everything, that's completely fine. I'm not complaining at all. It's just in my mind, I was just like, you would think the press would be in front of those to be able to get the access to so much. But I mean, almost everything you were around, you can get up close. You can get up close all over the place. Didn't matter whatever experience it was, whatever panel it was, and everything. You can get pretty close to all the stages and everything. I mean, the athletes, the celebrities, everyone there was they were roaming around the whole time. So, yeah, I mean that was the only thing that I really saw, you know, negative aspect, right? But it's still not. It's just something tiny. I have to give a huge shout out to Michael Rubin, his connections with the amount of people that he knows, getting the people in, because I said it from the beginning that the WWE and the UFC experiences were going to be the biggest highlights of the whole show. Easily. A lot of people don't understand how passionate the WWE fan base is. And I think more now understand after being at this show. Now, a big premise of Fanatics Fest is to get these fans of, these players, the NBA, WWE, the UFC, all these other sports that maybe don't know about sports cards to this fan experience and walk through the card area and all of a sudden get into cards, right? That is what I believe that was one of the biggest takeaways that Fanatics was trying to get at was, hey, we bringing you in because we have lids, we have Fanatics Collect, we have Authentics, we have the jerseys, we're partners with the WWE, we're partners with all these people, right? Mr. Rubin has connections with this streamer, this comedian, this athlete, this whatever, bringing these people in because they promoted them being at the show. So it's like you go into those type of conventions, those Comic-Cons, those everything, like you're not just staying in one spot. Like you're going to roam around and see everything. So roaming over to the card area and then looking down and seeing all this stuff, seeing some big price tags or whatever, could all of a sudden spark something and be like, hold on a second, this is pretty cool. What is this? At least, I'm wondering the numbers that would come out of it saying how many people didn't deal with cards left starting to deal with cards. And then flip it. How many people that just deal with cards that didn't really deal with WWE, UFC, and all that other stuff saw that experience, saw the fans, saw the excitement, everything that was happening in that area. And then now all of a sudden it's just like, okay, maybe I'm going to start watching WWE. Maybe I'm going to start paying attention to this more. Because you could have been anywhere inside that building when those big wrestlers came out and did their entrances, or they were there, they were, announcing other people. You heard it everywhere. It was some of the loudest roars. It was incredible. So shout out to, the whole Fanatics team with that, inclusion. And I believe the location of it was really good too for the WWE because it's almost in the middle. Now you had the other part of the building was kind of tucked away and stuff, but the massive part or majority of people were located at, it was right there. I really did like the fact that Fanatics did also give all the celebrities, all the athletes, all the big people in New York pretty much, a place for them to go and relax themselves. So if you guys didn't know, they brought in the Jay-Z 4040 Lounge Club. And a lot of people, came to the show just to go into there. They weren't walking around. They weren't signing athletes. They weren't signing stuff. They weren't experiencing it. They came in and went directly to that club because of what it's known for. I mean, you had big people coming in. Jay-Z came in. All right. DJ Khaled was there. Like all these individuals that are in the music industry and stuff like that. They're in New York. And there was actors, actresses, all that came in. They were coming in just to hang out. This isn't at night either. That's the other thing. Majority of the time you think about the club, you're thinking about, lounges and stuff. You're going at night. This is the middle of the day. They're coming in and popping the bottles in the middle of the day. So I think for the aspect of the talent, getting the talent to come, that was a big plus for them saying, okay, we'll come to Mr. Rubin. We're going to come to this because we got somewhere safe to be away from the rest of the world and stuff and chill with our friends, make new connections that way and everything. Which that drew a big crowd around. If it was on the front side where the blue carpet was, people walking through and doing interviews, to the back side where they had a little rooftop area where people were sitting at, and everyone was down yelling at individuals and they were waving from the top and stuff. it's just a different experience in that environment, right? As you can tell, I haven't even really talked about the cards yet. And there's a reason. Like I said in the beginning, this was a fan experience that had cards in it. From what I was told from a lot of different vendors, they had an incredible show. They had an incredible time while they were there. The price of the booths were a lot for that time frame, but after talking to quite a few people about it, it seemed like because of that, no one really brought bad cards. And what do I say about that? It's these cards that, you go to a card show, there's a lot of cards that are stale. Some cards stay in showcases and boxes and stuff for years, just because no one collects it. Now, I wouldn't say no one collects it. It's just the person that collects it just doesn't know it's there. Because, I always give the talk about, I have all these value boxes. I have all this stuff I have no problem it sitting there, moving it down the road, because just the right collector hasn't came up and found it yet. Just because you don't like the Sacramento Kings doesn't mean Mojo Sports isn't going to walk by and next thing you know, Jay's going to buy it from you, right? Everyone is different. Everyone collects differently, and that's what's the power of the hobby. Power of, this industry is we all do it to the way we want to do it. But you didn't see a lot of value boxes. There were some there. But there wasn't a lot. And I think that's because of the price. I think it's under the understanding of what type of environment this was going to be. So you didn't see a lot of those stale cards. You didn't see a lot of that stuff. You saw a lot more of the bigger cards, the mid-range, anything from $50 to $10, $20, $30,000 wild. Some of the cards you see, but it was really good feedback. Really good feedback that the vendors were giving throughout the show. On a buying standpoint too, people were coming in there to sell. Not everyone is going to be happy though. There are always people out there that just didn't do well, didn't have a good time, and to them, I just want to say maybe you should just reevaluate, look back, try to remember how the whole weekend went, see what your inventory was. Go online, watch some videos, see what people were buying, see what people were selling, see what people were doing. Maybe if you get in that environment again, try to bring more people and experience some of the show if you didn't get to, right? Have someone else sitting at your booth while you can go experience it. Maybe you can change the mindset, the culture you have at this type of, fest, because you're not used to it. A lot of these vendors and a lot of these dealers are not used to setting up at this type of environment. They're usually set up all day long at a card show. In this type of environment, you need to step away for mental health, everything else. Have a good time. Go grab a beer. Go relax. Go look at some apparel. Go look at some of these panels and stuff. Get away from the cards for a little bit while the cards are happening. And it helps. It goes a long way. I believe they did it right by having it in the Java Center. Place is monstrous, and we didn't even use a fraction of it apparently. I was very surprised. I was there all the whole time. The first day, you get into these longer multi-day shows, and it's like you forget to eat, drink, everything else because you're so wanting to do everything. Especially the first day. The first day is the hardest because you're just like, ooh, which way, right? So I had a few snacks with me and everything else, found some kiosks and stuff. So finally got to the second day. Finally got to, what day was that? Friday? Or Saturday? Friday, Saturday, whatever. The days were all molded together. I went to the second level. What second level? Right. It's third level, technically, where the theater was downstairs. I found out there's a huge food court downstairs from different types of food all over, Korean to Greek to, burgers to nachos to everything. There's monstrous amounts of different ways to eat all over this place. I was like, where did this come from? So I guess that actually can come back to the very beginning when I said a negative aspect. Either I just didn't see it, or there wasn't really a map showing that. That might have been my bad in not seeing it somewhere or whatever, but I don't know of anywhere where it said there's food courts are all in these locations, right? There's this place you can get this, or whatever. A lot of thing was focused on here are all the different, sports and everything. Here's the card section. Here's the theaters here or whatever. Not so much that. Not so much the bathrooms are all in these locations. But it was wild. I mean, the one, if you do any comparison of anything of different shows and events, right? If you do want to compare it, the lines weren't big for food there, and there was a ton of people there because they had so many different options. They were spread out too. I think that would be another reason why, not just one central location like the Nashville just recently had. I'm excited to see what this blossoms to. I'm excited to see what improvements they make from here to LA next spring. I'm excited to see what they do with their card shows. No one really knows is the plan is there going to be 2 fests per year, bigger locations, and 4 card shows per year in other bigger markets. The first card show is technically in a few months in November, beginning of November in Orlando. Location, I don't know where it's at. I don't think you can find it online here. It's odd. So that's another thing. Tops, Fanatics, everyone, put your information out as early as possible. Helps people plan. Like right now, the only thing I think we can find about Orlando is that you announced it earlier. You also announced Pittsburgh, but I heard that Pittsburgh's been canceled. But does everyone else know this? Put the information out there so individuals, because they're planning for, going different places, traveling and stuff like that, if they want to attend, if they want to sign up, where can they sign up, how they do it? Trying to understand the whole process, because just like this was the first Fan Fest, right? Fanatics Fest. People are going to want to go to the first card show you do. Get the information out there. So that's when you can start comparing. Is when they say this is a card show. Now you can start comparing it to other card shows. What I think it's going to be more like is it's going to be like the regional shows. It's going to be like Dallas. It's going to be like Midwest Monsters, CSA. I think it might be more in tune with like CSA. I'm not being biased because that's what I go to because it's my regional show. But because if you think about the Fanatics and the athletes they have and everything, they can get them their signing. So CSA is one of the biggest shows besides the National that has signers there for you to come and see at the actual card show. So I think it's going to be in lines of that type of environment. And it'd be good. Get with, the guys that run it. Get it with Joe, who runs the CSA show and stuff, if you're Fanatics, because you pick their brain. If you're going to have a ton of athletes there dealing with the autographs and stuff and everything, and you're going to have the cards sense, just talk with other people in the community and the industry that deal with it already, right? This shouldn't be a really competition between each other. This should just be another outlet for individuals to go do stuff with the ability to bring in different things because you own more companies. So we'll be very, very excited. I'll be very, very excited to see how that goes. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go to Orlando because a certain individual on Instagram that lives in Richmond, won't name names, Mac, has his wedding that weekend. And then no one, of course, my dog, the guard dog, as you can hear, as soon as someone honks the horn, he just goes wild. You stop. Come here. You gonna say hi? Come here. Come here. Say hi. Say hi to the camera, Willie. All right. You gotta have your wedding that weekend. That's fine. It's gonna be a fun time, anyways. And we'll just get FOMO by everyone else being there. But yeah, overall, to wrap this up, I think Fanatics Fest was a win. I think it was in a great location. There, of course, New York, so many different places you can stay at. I'm excited to see where it goes. So, to Mr. Rubin, Mike Mahan, Nick Bell, EJ, the whole Avery, everybody at Fanatics. Thank you. Scott Daniel, I can't forget you. Thank you for putting on a great show. I was busy the whole time, and I had a great time. For everyone on YouTube that's seeing this, that's not on Instagram, all like 30 of you, because I don't get that many views on here. Go to my Instagram. You're going to see a lot of different videos, short clips. It's just shorter forms, just so much easier to do than long form. I'm coming back to YouTube more. I'm trying to do more, especially like this let's discuss type of aspect, because I do want to, get more in the podcast type of, experience and everything. If you haven't watched the last video with me and Ryan and John, basketball card guy, that was at the National. Check it out. That is what me and Ryan are trying to get to. We want to have a podcast just like that, because that's how we talk. We're live every Thursday, Hobby Happy Hour, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Won't be this Friday. I'm at this Thursday, because I'm heading to Burbank. Yes. From New York to Virginia, now out to California. Burbank, going out to California for the first time. I'm super excited, super pumped. Shout out to Rizzo Sports. Gonna go out there and see them, do some stuff with them. And yeah, Fanatics Fest is finally in the books. So much has came out. You're gonna see so much more. Thank you guys for watching as always. Deuces.